go ahead and start. So this is our 5th grade parent Zoom. Miss Argo is on. She will be watching the chat. I wanted to start before I begin, by saying thank you, parents, for everything y'all are doing. Like, we understand, since we're all parents as well, having kids at home, we get it. It's hard to work and to have your kids and be a teacher and be the principal and be the custodian who cleans up after them. Like, it is hard. And we just want to thank you for everything you're doing during this distance learning. So just a little bit about Zoom etiquette. We want to just make sure everyone is muting themselves. That way we don't hear the background noise. It can be very distracting. If you have a question, there's a little chat feature. Should be at the bottom of your screen. And just type your question into the chat. Ms. Argo will be watching those questions, and she has kind of the agenda of what we're going to talk about. So she'll know like when to ask that question and interrupt, because it might get covered. So that way it'll repeat us from saying things twice. If you don't want to be seen, you can turn off your camera view, and it just shows your name, and that is totally fine. Especially if I know sometimes I turn off my camera view just because I have a child in my lap going crazy, and it can be a little bit distracting. Finally, this is being recorded so that the parents that can't be on tonight due to dinner or working or everything else, we are going to record this so that we can reach more parents that can't be on tonight. So here are the topics we're going to talk about. Ms. Morales is going to start us out talking about middle school registration. Then we're going to go into detail about the Google Classroom. We're going to show you where to find the video lessons. We're going to talk about where to find the assignments and how to turn them in. What do the grades mean, like the 1 of 1? What does that even mean? And we're going to really stress the conversation on the feedback and the comments for y'all to read those. Ms. Grady is going to talk a little bit about the Home Access Center. We have a little slide about the internet at Seven Hills, how you can get access to internet if you don't have it at home. And then we're going to look at the lesson plan template that's sent out to you every Sunday, just to kind of help you navigate that a little bit. So Ms. Morales, if you'd like to talk about middle school, it's all yours.
Absolutely. Thank you. So last week Monday, I sent out a pretty detailed email going through the steps that I need you to do in order to register your kiddos for middle school. Unfortunately, as a group, we were not able to do the middle school lesson that I typically do with the kids prior to choosing their courses. So that lesson was done for you guys to watch at home, and that's the first thing you see on that email. After that, depending on which school you feed into, about 95% of our students feed into Chisholm Trail Middle School, and there's a very small handful of kids that are just in a little blurb of our attendance zone that goes to Adams Middle School. You were sent the link it was a Google document. You go in and you choose what classes you're wanting for your kiddos. As of right now, I have about half of the grade level registered. This week, I need to be collecting the rest of those registrations. And then next week, they start getting loaded in by either myself or the middle school counselors. We're going to be working together on that to get your kiddos registered for next year and be able to see what class sizes they're going to have, what classes, what teachers. That helps with staffing. That's why it's done now and not later, and that's why it has to be done when we're in the middle of the crazy. Like I said, if you are looking at the parents that I see on here, for the most part, I think most of you have, I think one of you I might have missing on here. So if for one reason or another you don't have that email, the emails that I did do, the email that I sent to was whatever you had as the first email contact in your registration for Seven Hills. So if for one reason or another it didn't get to you, it's because I have your wrong email. There's nothing else I can go on other than that. So if you think you possibly may have the wrong email in our system, you need to let me know. And then that way I can get the information to you. What I thought too is if I will supply, I gave the teachers the instruction sheet, how to register. So I'm wondering if maybe those can't be pushed out on their dojo or however else teachers are communicating with you guys in order to get you a copy of that if for one reason or another it didn't come to you in your email. I only had one email out of 88 that did not go through, that got sent back to me. So it's out there. They're out there somewhere. And I have had parents that emailed me with questions. Big thing is making decisions between pre-AP and on-level courses. If you are not sure which to choose for your child, ask your child's teacher. That's the number one person who's going to be able to help you make that decision. Please do challenge your kids. Try to take at least one pre-AP class. My son is in 7th grade this year. He's taken almost all pre-AP, and it has not been overwhelming for him. And he's not a rocket scientist. So, so that's pretty much it as far as registration goes. It's just really, if you have friends that have 5th graders, hey, did you register yet? It's really getting that out there to make sure that we're getting those registrations done. I won't go through the whole lesson again. I don't want to, take up your time. It's there in that email that I sent. So the parents that are on here, do any of you have any questions about that registration for me? Anybody?
And you'll have to unmute yourself to speak if you do have a question, or you can type it in the chat and Miss Argo will read it for you.
I know, like I see Amanda's on here. Amanda and we spoke already, and I think I have your registration. I do have Luca's registration already, and I know I have our Clark registration too. So Miss Szymanski, do you have any questions about registration?
No, I completed it earlier today, so you should have it as of today.
Okay, great. Yeah, I haven't checked since this morning when I sent out that reminder email, so I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm not sure who Jacob is, what parent that is. So, and I'm not sure if you have a question or not. But like I said, the main thing is getting those things in. If you need me to walk you through it, I certainly can do that. So that's not a problem. All righty.
We know what classes.
When will you know what classes?
When will we get a schedule for them? Is that the pup camp?
Yeah. Yes. At the once the process is, once we get them loaded in, what will happen is we call it a blast. The middle schools will blast out all the schedules to parents. That'll be the end of April, and I will email you guys the exact date. I don't have it sitting right in front of me. It'll be the end of April, and what will happen is you will see what was put into the system for your child. If number one, there's something wrong, then you contact the middle school counselors and they get that fixed. Or number two, if your mind has changed, if all of a sudden you decided you don't really want to do orchestra, you'd rather do choir, that's the time to make those changes. So that blast will go out at the end of April once everything's loaded into the computers. And then that's pretty much it. If things need to be changed after that, you need to contact the counselors at the middle school. So Chisholm Trail is Mike Hayes and Cindy Barksdale are the two counselors. Mike Hayes does the A through L's, and I believe Cindy does M through Z's, is the way it works, because they have a smaller population there. They don't do it by grade level. So they'll be able to give you any help with that. That was a good question. Thank you. Anybody else? Teachers, do you have anything to add to that? Those of you who have gone through registration before, anything you need to add?
I feel like I had a couple parents asking me about the ADVID process. Like, are they doing an application for that, or how is ADVID working?
A good question, Martha. Yes. Once I have all the course selections in this week, I'll gather up the names of the kids that put AVID as their first choice, and I will send that over to Miss Kirby, who is the AVID teacher at Chisholm. And what she will do is she will be in contact because there is an application process for Avid. It is the kids just have to fill something out, and in previous years they had to have a recommendation from a teacher. I'm not sure if that's going to look different this year or not. But then also it comes from a recommendation from Avid. Is a great course for kiddos. A lot of times it's for kiddos that may be first generation of going to college, but on the other side of it, if it's kiddos that need good organization skills and another adult to help them get through their week at school. For example, my son takes it, he's a 7th grader, he has ADHD. And it helps because he has to keep a schedule, his assignment schedule. That's a grade every week. So it has forced him to be more organized. The other neat thing about Avid is you go on field trips to different colleges. This past year, they went to the fire academy and the police academy through TCC. And then 2 months ago, they went up to UNT. I believe next year they're slated to go to Tarleton and to TCU. So they do campus tours and things like that. It's a really great way to have kids beginning with the end in mind, looking to the future and whatnot. But yes, it is an application process. And it really is to show Miss Kirby that you're serious about wanting to take the course. So I will tell you, Avid in 8th grade will count as a half credit for high school. So those of you who are like, oh, do I take Avid now or should I try it later? That's something for you to think about. In 8th grade, the Avid course will count towards their speech course. They either have to take speech or they can take Avid in 8th grade, and it's a half a credit for the high school. So, if you don't feel like your child needs it right this second and you want to get them more exposed to career and college readiness, if you wait to 8th grade, it'll count towards high school. So it's a double-edged sword. It's whichever way you want to do it. If you feel like your kiddo needs more organization skills now, needs another layer of adult leadership, then do it now. So thanks, Martha. That was a good question. Anything else, guys? All righty.
Thank you, Ms. Morales, for
Absolutely.
talking us through all that. And then if parents have any questions, we can always direct them to your email. And so if they have your email, y'all can email Ms. Morales directly, or we can forward your email to Ms. Morales.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been trying to really make sure my emails are answered within a few hours. I know that one got left over the weekend, but to be honest with you, I shut down everything over the weekend. So I didn't see one until this morning that came late Thursday night. So I apologize to that parent. But I am trying to get onto those rather quickly, so not to leave anybody waiting. Nobody likes to be waiting at this point. We got enough crazy going on. So, all right, if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I'm going to leave the rest of that explanation to you guys. And I appreciate you inviting me in and being able to talk to parents, and hopefully more parents will get to see this through the recording. Again, don't hesitate to give me a call. If you'd rather talk on the phone, email me and I'll call you. I have everybody's phone. Don't worry about that. Either way, and please tell your kids I miss them. Oh my gosh, I miss them. This is such a fun time of year, and I hate that they're not getting to have it all together with us, but at least it'll be a very interesting memory at the end of it all. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to say goodnight and go back to my son do his science homework.
All right, bye, Ms. Morales.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Google Classroom. I'm going to take y'all through it in just a minute, but I would just want to point out a couple of things first. So on the Google Classroom, there is a video lesson. It is so important that students are watching that video all the way through. It goes through the lesson, and then at the very end, we talk about the assignment and what's needed in the assignment. And some assignments, though they look very similar, they're very different. And unless they watch that video in its entirety, they're not going to know exactly what to do on the assignment. I'm going to show you where to find the assignments. I'm going to show you what the grades mean and where to find comments and feedback. a lot of the students, since they're not watching the videos all the way through, we're giving them feedback and not giving them a score yet, because they haven't completed it correctly. So I'm going to take you to, I think I have to stop sharing for just a moment so I can open up a new screen. Okay, so Miss Grady, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is what one of the Google Classrooms looks like. Now, math and science looks different from ELA. They're all a little bit different, but for the most part, we're starting as a 5th grade team to try to make all the Google Classrooms look very, very similar. So when the student logs onto the Google Classroom, they come here, and this is called the stream. It's kind of like your Facebook stream. Like as things get posted, will be posted in the order that they're posted. We're encouraging students to actually click on classwork, because when you click on that classwork tab, it will have it in categories. So like week 3, week 2, week 1, and they can track all of their assignments here. When a student goes to the assignment, so for example, this week's reading assignment, it's going to take them to 3 things. It's going to be a video. Then we have the slides that we use in the video so that they can review them at their own pace. Sometimes they have like anchor charts, which are charts to anchor their thinking, to help them on the assignment. So they might want to have that up and not have to go through the video over and over again. So here's those slides for them to review. And then there's the actual assignment. It's really important that the students are completing the assignment on the assignment and not going here where we have an example of the assignment. So when a student is ready to do the assignment, they'll go ahead and they will click the assignment. When they click the assignment, it's going to bring it up and they can type right onto the assignment. It makes a copy for them to do themselves. And again, this is just an example of this week's reading assignment. Science, math, writing, it all looks a little bit different. And then they can just straight up type on here. If they put their name on here, fantastic. If they don't, it'll put their name at the top for them anyway. When they are done with the assignment, it's really important that they go back and they turn it in. So let me see if I can find, I did a sample of it. So, and then that's where the comments are. But when they actually go, this is what they'll see, and their work will be right here. It says your work assigned, and they click that and they put their work into that for both writing and for reading, for math and for science. They're all separate posts. Now, the other thing that I want to show you is that when a student submits it, we will give feedback. And when they go and click on it, they'll see a private comment down here if we have commented back and give them feedback. So that's right here on this page. So once again, I'm going to go back and show you where I found that. So Fake Me has turned this in. This is my student view, my sample. And I have turned in my reading assignment. And now when I click on it, the feedback from my teacher is right here. Marty, you need to be sure to complete each jot as you read, then think about the question of your choice. And so a lot of times we give very specific feedback to mistakes or errors that the student made on that. Okay. When they get it back, if they were given credit, there will be a score up here in this box, and it will say you scored 1 point, 1 out of 1. This shows that's worth 1 point, but the point will actually be over here in this box. So until they receive their score of a 1 out of 1 on their assignment, they know that they need to keep on fixing it. All right. So I'm going to go back, and it is imperative that they hit turn in. So when they turn it, before they turn it in, I had turned that one in, there's a button right here, and they have to hit that turn in button. Otherwise, it does not send it to us to grade. So it is so crucial. A lot of students will go in there, they'll complete it, and then they'll just X out. They need to leave the assignment. They're at the top tabs, and then go back to this page and hit turn in, because then that sends it to us for grading. All right.
Can I make a quick comment, Ms. Jones?
Yes.
when they make a copy of the assignment, like on the back original assignment, one of the things the kids are doing and it's getting lost is, can you go back to the assignment? Like, no, back up at the top, where you
Oh, right here.
they'll share that page with us, and that gets lost in our Google Drive, the teacher's Google Drive, because it goes everywhere. So they don't need to share it from there. They need to go back to the actual assignment in Google Classroom and add it and
Turn it in.
and to turn it in.
Yes, so what Ms. Brister is saying is students should not be hitting the share button to share it with us. They should be going back over to this assignment page and hitting turn in. And that's how it sends it to us for grading. Thank you for clarifying that, Ms. Brister. All right, Ms. Argo, do we have any questions?
No questions. I'm waiting.
All right. So I think we've kind of talked about everything on here. I showed you where to find the assignments. The grades on the Google Classroom, it will be just a 1 out of 1 or not any grade. So if they've gotten credit for the assignment on the Google Classroom, we only give them a score of a 1 because we're not grading it. All grades are pass, fail. So on the Google Classroom, they don't let us put a pass or a fail. And really the F stands for fix it because we're not failing anybody. It just means that y'all need to fix it. But until they get that 1, we have not given them that passing credit. All right, Ms. Grady, did you want to talk just for a moment on the Home Access Center?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen of my son's account real fast. So this is his, and honestly, I think the easiest way to go through is actually through your child's portal. So what you do is you just go to portal.nisdtx.org and they sign in with their username and password just as they do on their Chromebooks. So you sign in. Once you sign in, this is their entire portal. Okay, in the portal, you'll then go to the Home Access Center or the HAC and you click on it. Okay, once you get in here, my son's in kindergarten, so he's not going to have any grades. But once you go in, it goes to grades. Normally here it'll pop up, but you can also just click on grades and you would be able to see any grades or anything possible that he's gotten or your child has gotten recently. So this is where the P's, the F's are going to come in that Ms. Yasko was just talking about. For those of you who have a paper copy and you requested that, then it'll show an H on there until we have gotten the chance to get that and grade that. Okay, but this is the easiest part. I think going through the students portal. I know Northwest ISD did send recently a username and password for parents to be able to log in as well, but the students should already know how to look at their grades because we've done it numerous times in classroom.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and go back. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, I know a lot of parents don't have internet access. Northwest ISD has installed a hub at Seven Hills Elementary School, actually at all the elementary schools, or several of the elementary schools, I don't know if all, but several. And Seven Hills is one of them. And this is the area of the parking lot that you have to be in to receive access. So you could go and pull up and you could sit in your car and have your student just go on and download the work and then take it home and then come back and park there and turn it in. Or if it's a beautiful day outside, have them sit on the curb or on the sidewalk, enjoy the sunshine a little bit, whatever you want to do. But you have to be within this range of this picture in order to get the signal for that hub that they put in there. All right. And I will send this slide out as well. When I push out the how to register from Ms. Morales, I will also put this slide out so that way if y'all are there and you need to see, oh wait, where was it, that y'all be able to have access to that. The last thing that we're going to talk about is that lesson plan template that comes out. Before I show it to y'all, I need to stress, as a fifth grade team, we put that out there for you. Honestly, the students could probably just go to the Google Classroom and see the videos and their assignments and follow those steps and complete everything without even looking at this template. But if you want to kind of see what they have to do and their different tasks, this template is a great place to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And so on this template, can you see it, Miss Grady?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. On this template, the first thing that it has is the communication. We have our signups this week. To be completely honest, we will be reaching out to you in some way, form, or fashion every week just to check in. We're not trying to be a bother. We just want to make sure everything's going okay, and that if you need our support in any way, we're here for you and for your students. However, if there's a specific time that works better for you than others, here's the different places to sign up with your homeroom teacher. If you want to have both teachers on, please just send us a message or put a comment or something about please want to meet with both parents. Otherwise, we will just be doing a quick check-in. It can be a text message, it can be a dojo message, it can be a phone call, it can be an email. We just need to know how you want to be reached. Otherwise, we'll just be reaching out to you in the way that you filled out that form at the beginning of all of this. Over here, you have your lessons for the week, and then you have the assignments. Now, a lot of times we're not linking the assignments into the document just because students were doing them here and not doing them in the Google Classroom, and we could not provide the feedback. So this is the first one that went out. I think now we're not linking the assignments here just because students, they weren't able to access it, or they're having to make a copy of it and it just wasn't working. So students do have to go through the Google Classroom to get those assignments. I believe this is no longer on the template anymore. Over here, you'll find choice boards for the special areas. You'll have PE, art, and music. And so if you want your kids doing more and still getting that special area work, like the art and the music and especially the PE, get them moving, there are little choice boards here. And I know for art and music, Miss Little Green and Miss Howe are checking the student work if they submit it, just to kind of, keep them engaged in that. And then down at the bottom is just the other tools that we're using. We have a link to for our leadership, and this week we're just focusing on Autism Awareness Month. And there's some little video lessons there. We talk about Zoom, how to use Zoom here. There's the EPIC resource here, RazKids. So if you do not have access to books, you can find them here. And then if you don't know how to use EPIC or RazKids, please reach out to Miss Henderson or myself or Miss Argo, and we can really help you get into that if your kids do not have books at home. PebbleGo is a great place for nonfiction, like reading as well. And then if you scroll down, there's the Spanish version there. All right.
Ms. Shaska, we have a question.
Yes.
And it just says from mom, so I don't know who. It says, I can't get into Dojo. Please email me.
All right.
But
I think that's from Miss Clark. So for Miss Brister and Miss
correct.
Henderson, I will have them reach out to you.
I'll reach out to you, and I know it's on. Do you have? It's an app, and I'll find out how you need to get in there. It might be tomorrow because Miss Henderson, that's her strength.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions? Well, once again, we want y'all to know that we are here for you. We are here to support you. We are here to support your kids. And we want to really just thank you for everything you're doing. And we do know that this is not easy. It's not easy for anyone. No part of this is easy. But we do know that y'all are working hard with your kids, and we really, really, really appreciate it.
Yes, and we miss your kids quite a bit. So please let them know how much we miss them, and we can't wait to see them.
All right. Well, we thank y'all for hopping on. Please email us, text us, whatever you need to do to get in contact with us, and we are happy to support you with any questions or concerns you have. All right, y'all have
Thank
a
you for
wonderful
joining us.
have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.